I read the quotes, but he's like, we won a Super Bowl since I've been here. We've been in the playoffs 3 or 5 years since I've been here. We won a conference championship twice. Now I don't expect to get fired, but no coaches expect to get fired. And I don't expect him to get fired either. But it's not because they won a Super Bowl just 2 years ago.
Right. And it almost sounds like if he really didn't expect to be fired, then he would be confident if he just said it. It sounds like he's kind of putting it on the table, like laying out his resume, and kind of pleading to the ownership group. But, he has done a lot for that organization. But, man, in football, our memories are short. What have you done for me lately? If you're not winning now, doesn't matter what you did in the past. And, that's unfortunate. I know, building culture and longevity and consistency is important. So it'll be interesting to see what they do in Philly. But we know that fan base. They have a very short fuse. Not a lot of patience.
Can you put up the comment from Zach Nelson, guys, if you don't mind, and while you search for it? 18 months is what coaches here in the sweatpants capital got after winning a championship. John Gregory and Corey Chamberlain, almost to the day, 18 months after winning a Grey Cup, apple and a roadmap. Zach Nelson in Calgary watching, he says, the Monday Night Football crew this year has been the best Monday Night Football crew since 2015. I wouldn't necessarily agree. I wouldn't. But one thing about broadcasters, as we know, people are subjective when it comes to that. Here's what I would do. Steve Levy's fine. I don't think he's great. Louis Riddick's really growing on me. And Brian Greasy is fighting for room to talk in that booth. I would put Booger McFarland back in there. I'm a really big fan of Booger McFarland. They're telling me to speed up here.
Well, and that's true. Booger's good.
And last point, and then just a couple of bonus ones. The Argos releasing Jeff Knox Jr. yesterday, linebacker. That's a tough one. I spoke at length with Jeff, and I spoke at length with the Argos. It had a lot to do with money and a little to do with the double attempted homicide charges he's facing in Pittsburgh. Jeff's disappointed that he was initially told that the team would stand behind him, and then they released him. That's the harsh reality of pro football, sorry to say. From the Argos standpoint, they said we waited until the longest we possibly could, made sure he got all his payment, but we need to move on. His trial has been postponed a couple of times. He'll now stand trial in Pittsburgh on February the 18th. So, as I said to Jeff, football is not the most important thing in your life right now, Jeff. And he agrees. He understands that. But he's still young. And I still think he'll be back. I understand both sides. From the Argos, that we need to move on. Those spots on those rosters are cherished. They're highly coveted, right? And as I was told, Jeff was making a pretty good wage in CFL circles. He might have been cut anyways, regardless of the charges, for a younger, cheaper.
Just because of money. I agree. Yeah. And
we got to speed up. Sorry.
From a PR perspective, you got to do it too. And let him take care of the personal stuff. And if it's all taken care of, you can bring him back later.
Gotcha. Yesterday's rock star of the day, Tori Gurley. Do you have the picture of Iceville, Clark? Why not? We'll talk about this later. We'll be back. Kelly Rempel coming in the studio next. And from Vancouver, Joey Kenward from Sportsnet 650. It's the RP Show on Game Plus TV, Facebook Live, and listen live at rodpedersen.com.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
It's year-end clearance at Capital Ford Lincoln. The Capital Auto Group is giving away $50K. That's a $10,000 cash prize at each Capital store in Western Canada. Get the hottest deals on all new and used vehicles, the highest trade-in values of the year, and savings up to $20,000. Oh yeah, and did we mention you can enter to win cold, hard cash? All this and more during Capital's year-end clearance. Check out CapitalFordLincoln.com.
There's something for everyone at the Mad Greek Eatery. Delicious Greek dishes, pizza, lasagna, pastas, soups, salads, and much more. The Mad Greek Eatery brings the best authentic Greek cuisine right to you. Available for licensed dining, events, delivery, and takeout. For the best taste and huge portions, there is only one place. Visit the Mad Greek Eatery, downtown Moose Jaw. Call for takeout and delivery today.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
He's covering everything that matters to you. It's the Rod Pedersen Show. Tune in live Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to noon to catch the show live and be a part of the action. Take control by commenting live and sharing the show with your friends. Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. It's a blur this morning. We're going fast. And just ahead of Joey Kenward joining us from Vancouver, longtime hockey broadcaster out there. The Silver Fox is here. Our question of the day is, will the Cardinals win with Chris Strebler at quarterback? They haven't named him the starting quarterback against the Rams and a must-win to get in. I haven't been able to formulate an answer yet. I'm hoping they do. Remps, where are you on that?
The bottom line is, I think my understanding is you're going to have 2 teams with backup quarterbacks in. Yeah. So, all bets are off, right? I mean, it could happen either way. Darren was talking earlier about Chris Strebler and playing the American game, and it's different and all those kinds of things. But the reality is, this guy, played for the University of South Dakota and won the Walter Payton Award in 2017, I think it was, for, top player in the league. So it's not like he hasn't had success playing on an American football field, and 11 players on the field and 4 down football. He's also had the benefit of learning from some very smart people there. So it won't be his understanding of the game that holds him back. Chris is just not a great quarterback. So my guess is that the reason that they're not maybe officially announcing him is they know that he's pretty one-dimensional. And it gave a pretty good coaching staff in Los Angeles an opportunity to basically just say, if we could stop this guy from running and we force him to throw the ball 25 or 30 times, we're going to win. That would be my thinking. But I'd be pulling for him. I love it when those CFL guys go down there and play well. I'd be his biggest fan. I couldn't care less about Los Angeles. I would rather Arizona get in anyway. If my Vikings can't get in, darn it, then might as well have a CFL guy go in there and lead his team into the playoffs.
Well, it's a wonderful thing about the CFL. We're sitting here in the rectangle, and you look right, you got Strebler gone to Arizona. You look left, you got Alex Singleton gone to Philly. And the CFL people cheer for those guys once they leave the CFL. So, we're all hoping for Chris Strebler. Jury's out on whether they will win or not. Is Joey ready, guys? All right, let's do it. Let's go out to Vancouver. Rems, you know Joey Kenward well, right? Long-time broadcaster, just getting up, getting rolling, but he's got his hair fixed today. How you doing, Joey?
I still have my hair, and I'm happy to say that after all these years.
Happy holidays, Joey. Look, we got a lot to unpack with you hockey-wise, and we'll get to the Canucks in a second, but through 4 days now of the World Juniors, have you formulated some ideas on who might win this thing?
Absolutely not, because I think for the first time in a long time, this tournament is completely up for grabs. And we're saying that about a Canada team that might be the only team in their pool that will go undefeated. And we're also saying that about the other pool where only one country might go undefeated. And that's Sweden, who I don't think has lost in the round robin since the Clinton administration. Both teams look pretty good, don't they, through their first couple of games? The one thing that's really impressed me about this tournament, though, is that no team looks like they're just going to coast through and sail right into the medal round and be guaranteed a spot on the podium. You know, the USA hasn't looked fantastic, particularly in their opening game against the Russians. The Russians didn't look like they know what hit them when they played the Czechs. That game later on today, as much as many eyes in our country will be on Canada, Switzerland, that game between the Czechs and the Americans, that's going to be a huge, huge turning point in this tournament for who's going to get ideal placing into the medal round and who eventually may or may not be on the medal podium when all is said and done in Edmonton in just a couple of weeks' time.
But Joey, you know, don't you think that unlike when Rod and I were growing up as young men and you were probably not even born, there was really no point in watching the World Juniors until you got to the gold medal game, because it was going to be Canada versus Russia every single year. It was a foregone conclusion. But I would argue with you a little bit in the sense that in the last number of years, there's a number of teams that could win. And I think that's what's made the World Junior Tournament so much fun lately, is that it's not two teams. You could have 4 or 5 different teams that could be playing in that championship game.
No question. Can't agree with you more. However, look back to the last time Canada had hosted this tournament, and did anybody in this country think that Canada would not be bound for a medal spot when they started the tournament in Vancouver? That's what I'm getting at right now. Yeah. Canada looked like that was their tournament to lose, and they didn't even have a medal put around their neck. Yeah. That's what I'm getting at. And right now, at this particular point in the tournament, you can say that about legitimately 4 or 5 countries could be atop the gold medal podium. Now, you're right. Having said that, usually the best part of the viewing doesn't take place until New Year's Day, when we get to the final game of the round robin, and then when the teams really start playing for keeps. But especially with the Russians and the Americans already having lost in their group, the fact that Canada could go wire to wire without any blemishes in their pool, I think completely puts this tournament up for grabs. And haven't even brought up a country like Finland, who, we certainly, they've played well in the tournament so far, but we haven't seen their best hockey because they haven't been tested to their best yet. So you're right. The tournament itself, even 5 or 6 years ago, guys, it's much more competitive because so many more teams are legitimate contenders to win the gold. But I just think right now, when we're talking about the first 2 or 3 days of the tournament, it's been ultra competitive. And I think from a hockey perspective, when we're all clamoring to see hockey, as maybe we've seen 1 or 2 blowouts, the fact that the majority of the games have been pretty close, that's been, I think, pretty positive to start off the World Juniors.
Tuesday's schedule, by the way: USA, Czech Republic, 1 p.m. Central; Canada, Switzerland, 5 p.m. Central; Austria, Russia, 8:30 p.m. Central. Joey, you mentioned the absence of hockey, so the NHL appears to be coming back. Can you tell me what it's been like? We haven't gone to the West Coast as much as we probably should have, but what's it like living out there right now with the COVID controls, and what's your read on the Canucks coming back? Because I know what the Canucks mean to that province, and I'm sure everybody's got their fingers crossed.
For sure. Obviously, I think no matter where you call home in Canada, you're keeping your fingers crossed that NHL hockey gets going properly and safely. And it looks like, based on what we saw in the summer when all the teams went through the proper protocols and procedures in both bubbles in Edmonton and Toronto, that the league looks like it's got its act together here and is ready to get back up and running. Maybe a little later than they would have liked to, but green light is up now, and within a couple of weeks' time, we're going to see games back in action. And later this week, it's hard to believe, but later this week, a few teams are already going to have their training camps underway for those teams that weren't in the bubble in the summer. Here in Vancouver, I think there's a lot of optimism and a lot of curiosity around what the Canucks are going to look like when they start playing in January, because they're coming off, for the first time in 5 years, playoff hockey. And a team that had gone through some down years, didn't play that well, obviously, to warrant a playoff spot, that even if they weren't officially solidifying a guaranteed playoff spot when the league went on pause last spring. Points-wise, that's what got them in. But they were a far improved team this past season than what they were the previous couple of years. And they've got some dynamic young players in that locker room that are now the go-to leaders of this team. And that's why after a pretty good postseason run where, for the first time in a long time, they were playing meaningful games and having success in meaningful games, that Canucks Nation is really, really fired up to see what this team's looking like right out of the chute come mid-January. For the first time in a long time, there's reason for hope. There's reason for optimism. Tough thing is, they're in a very, very competitive division with very good teams around them, and many of which are like Vancouver, wanting to prove that what just happened the last year or two is no fluke, that they're still trending on an upward trend, and that's what's going to make this Canadian division extremely entertaining to watch over the first few months.
Well, and Joey, it seems to me, and maybe you're reading different material, but just for fun, a couple of days ago, I went online. I tried to get a general consensus as to what the conventional wisdom was of hockey writers and people that follow the NHL closely, like yourself. And I noticed that it's pretty much universally accepted that the Toronto Maple Leafs would have the best team on paper, and unless they pull a Toronto Maple Leafs, they'll probably be the best team. Now, that could change because it's the Toronto Maple Leafs, but that's sort of the conventional wisdom. What I thought was really interesting, though, is when you talk about the Western teams, especially Edmonton, Calgary, and where you are in Vancouver, it's like anybody. I mean, you got some people that make strong, compelling arguments for the Flames, and there's others that make strong, compelling arguments for Vancouver. It really, truly, like what we were just talking about with the World Juniors, like anybody could win, and that's what makes this thing really fun, isn't it?
There's going to be two very, very good teams on paper. Again, we don't know how the season's going to play out, but on paper, there's going to be two very quality teams that don't even get a playoff spot in the Canadian division, all things being equal. Each team's got very, very good goaltending. I won't say each team's got great goaltending, but each team's got very, very good goaltending. Some teams have Vezina caliber goaltending. But whether that's the primary factor as to whether those teams are going to have playoff success, we're going to find out. Each team's got a ton of skill up front, some more than others. Where I think the teams will be separated at the end of the day is to the productivity in both ends of the rink that they get from their defense. Some teams are very, very deep on the blue line. Some teams are just starting to come in their own in that position. But Kelly, to your point, you're right. On paper, you look at all those rock stars that the Maple Leafs have on their roster, and you say, if they are all coming together, that's a tough team to beat. Here's the key, that team having to come all together. And that's been their Achilles heel over the last couple of seasons. They haven't been able, as a team, to get together and be on the same page when it matters the most come playoff time. Out here in the West, you're right. In each market, each following seems to think that its team is the one to beat. Calgary's the one that's made the most changes. Obviously, they've upgraded in goal by getting Jacob Markstrom. They've upgraded on their blue line as far as experience and playoff success with a guy like Chris Tanev. Vancouver went out and got Nate Schmidt, who has a boatload of playoff experience and leadership quality in his back pocket that he'll bring from his time with Vegas and Washington. Braden Holtby, who's in the mix now in the crease in Vancouver, he too ticks off those boxes just like Nate Schmidt. And Edmonton, now they're starting to add a little bit to their roster, and obviously a team that's got maybe the best player on the planet, plus the reigning MVP of the league. Like, it's going to be very, very fun to watch, no matter which team you're pulling for. And then you talk about those other Canadian teams in the mix, and I think most that would say on paper, Ottawa is the team that's a long ways from being where they want to be. But Montreal made more changes than any team in the league, not just in Canada, in the league. I think as of yesterday when they signed Corey Perry, in the last 10 weeks, they've signed 15 or 16 different players to contracts, either where they were already on the Habs roster or they're coming in from somewhere else. That's a huge, huge overhaul of dollars that Mark Bergevin has been allowed to spend by Habs management. And then you got the Winnipeg Jets, who not long ago, and I don't need to tell you guys this living on the prairie, is like they were considered one of the best teams in the league and still have one of the best goalies in the league and arguably one of the best big forward groups of all the Canadian teams. It's going to be a lot of fun. And at the end of the day, no matter how this abbreviated season plays itself out, I think there's going to be two very, very good teams that are going to be wondering how the heck did this league turn into the way it did, because we should be a playoff team, not be a team that's on the outside looking in when the playoffs start.
Absolutely. Two just quick questions for you, because we're running out of time, but the viewers just want to know about Markstrom. I mean, how big of a hole was it, and do you think that he will be the cure for the Flames to push him over the top?
Well, I think it's certainly an upgrade. Let's make no mistake about it. That was one of the biggest free agent signings of any team in the league. The Flames, I was a little surprised, to be quite honest, that they paid not only that much money, but gave that much term to a goaltender who's at the age that Markstrom is, who's also had the injuries recently that he's had. Take nothing away from him, though, the way he's played. When he's been healthy, he's been one of the best puck stoppers in the Western Conference, and the numbers speak for themselves. He makes Calgary that much tougher a team to play against. The question is the defense in front of him tougher to play against? And I think Chris Tanev and Mark Giordano are two of the best quality defensive defensemen in the West, but around them, that's going to be really interesting to see. Markstrom's going to be busy. He may not be as busy as he was with Vancouver over the past couple of years, but he's certainly going to have to earn his keep, and a lot of that keep that he's going to be earning with Calgary once they start playing for keeps coming up here in a few weeks' time. Is that enough alliteration for you?
That's great. Last one for you, Joey. A lot of viewers here remember you from your days as the voice of the Swift Current Broncos, Vancouver Giants, and, of course, being part of the WHL on Shaw. How closely are you following the Dub? What's your confidence? And if it is close, what's your confidence level on them playing this year?
Well, second question first. I'm hopeful. I'm extremely hopeful that the league can get back up and running sooner rather than later. The more the days tick off the calendar, though, that just puts a bigger question mark as to whether the league's going to be back up and running. And it would be a shame if the best junior hockey league on the planet couldn't operate after a 2020 to forget for so many different reasons. I still follow it quite closely. I still have great ties and great relationships with many individuals on different teams in the league. And as a proud BC kid, born and raised, I can honestly say that some of the best experiences in my career, both inside and outside of the broadcast booth, came starting my play-by-play career with the Swift Current Broncos. Hard to believe, guys. I know this will put more gray hairs on your heads, but that's 20 years ago when I took over the play-by-play calling for the Swift Current Broncos. It was a ton of fun, great community to be a part of. I wish I could get back there more than what I have been able to over the last couple of years. I'll definitely be back, but just awesome people in the prairies and awesome people in the Western Hockey League. And that's why whether you're in the smallest market like you are in Swift Current or the largest market like we are here in Vancouver, it's a great league, and you can only hope that the great young men that play in that league are going to get a chance to do that here coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Well, back when you...
Brett says he's got one thing.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. It's still, I can't believe, and Kelly, you got to be stunned. How the heck, who paid him to wear a Warriors shirt?
Long story.
Well, we won't even go there. That another time. But I'll say this: 20 years ago, you were usually getting home at 8:30 in the morning. You did your best work after last call. Now you're drinking coffee at 8:30 in the morning. You're all fired up. Like your life has really taken a turn for the better, I must say.
The only reason I was getting home at 8:30 in the morning is because those long bus trips back from Portland to Saskatchewan.
Yeah,
that's
sure.
when the team got home.
Yeah,
exactly. Joey, you haven't aged a day. Great to see you, my friend. Still following you closely. All the best in 2021, my friend.
Hey, all the best to you guys. And I know all of your viewers will be aware of this. Tomorrow is obviously a somber day in the history of the Western Hockey League, but an important day for everybody to remember as well. That was the the day of the bus crash for the Swift Current Broncos. So to all of my friends and extended family in Broncos country in Swift Current, always thinking of you, especially at this time of year. But to you and yours, all the best as we head into 2021, guys. And here's hoping that we all can put this year in the rearview mirror as quickly as possible, and bigger and better things to come here in the days, weeks, and months ahead.
You bet. Thanks for noting that, Joey. Be well.
Thanks, guys.
Joey Kenward out in Vancouver. And 34 years tomorrow. Thanks for that. I did see an interview with Dean Chenoweth. I did not know that he was the assistant coach of the Carolina Hurricanes for the last 3 years. Did you know that?
I did.
I didn't. And it got me thinking about his time in Swift Current. And I'm like, was he the coach when we were going through all those shenanigans? Remember all those shenanigans when the RCMP was involved? It was Dean.
Yeah, well, he was there for
a long time.
Yeah, I mean, Davey Hunchak, our good friend, was, I think, the assistant coach of that team.
It was so much fun.
I'll never forget that. He talks about, Rod, I have to admit, I kind of forgot about that. Tomorrow was the anniversary of that tragedy.
Tomorrow you'd have known.
Yikes.
Right. We'll take a break and come back with a sports update, viewer takeover, and me and Ramps for the next 40 minutes. It's the RP Show. Game Plus TV, Facebook Live, and listen live at rodpedersen.com.
You need to adapt and you need to move forward. You can't be stuck in 1920. Direct West is on the top of their game. They know what they're doing, how they're doing it, and when you work with Direct West, things are good. There's no going backwards, they're moving forward. My business would not be where it is today without the help of Direct West to help me with my website and my Facebook and all my online presence. I've worked with Direct West for about 10 years, and it's been a great experience.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Hey, it's Warren Dean. I understand more than anyone how changing weather affects your day, and that's no different for your vehicle. That's why I look to the experts at Suds Full Service Car Wash. They have a wide range of exterior washes, including Lava Shield with Towel Dry. Looking good, Natalie and Kirby. And don't forget their famous Suds Ultimate. Thoroughly cleans the interior of your car. Open Monday to Saturday. No appointment necessary. Head to Suds Full Service Car Wash today, where they treat you like family.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Updating and improving your air conditioning system does not need to be difficult. You can breathe easy with our 100% satisfaction guarantee, flexible financing options, and maintenance programs. We will be with you throughout the process from start to finish. Contact us today so we can help you breathe a little easier. 306-781-2090.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Welcome back, everybody. If you can do us a big favor, go to the bottom of your screen if you are enjoying the show and click share to all your Facebook friends. If you enjoy the RP Show, please do that and expose the show to your friends. Sports update before we get back to the Silver Fox. Germany has earned its first win at the World Juniors in Edmonton. Ottawa Senators prospect Tim Stützle scored twice and assisted on the game-winning goal as the Germans topped Slovakia 4-3 in preliminary round action Monday. In the only other game, Sweden blanked Austria 4-0. Josh Allen passed for 4 touchdowns, leading the Bills to a 38-9 rout of the Patriots. On Monday Night Football, Allen has 34 touchdown passes for the year, setting a new franchise single-season record. Meanwhile, Frank Gore may have played his final NFL game. The 37-year-old running back suffered a bruised lung in the Jets' win over the Cleveland Browns on Sunday. He will not play a New York season finale against the Patriots this week. CFL news from Monday. The Hamilton Tiger Cats announced they are bringing back coordinators Tommy Condell and Mark Washington. Meanwhile, the Toronto Argonauts have released linebacker Jeff Knox Jr. Knox is currently facing 2 counts of attempted double homicide in Pittsburgh. He was the Rough Riders MVP in 2015. This sports update for Ballers Rec Room. They can handle all your food and fun needs. And for Red Bull Canada, Red Bull gives you wings. So the Silver Fox, Kelly Rempel, is in the bunker. And Remps, you know, we're missing our CFL and our junior hockey. Curling's not going. NLL would be fired up by now. We really miss them. But we have NHL starting. We're in the throes of World Juniors. NFL really hasn't missed a beat. NBA's going now. There's a lot to talk about in sports.
Yeah, you know, I have to say, Rod, that I am really enjoying the NFL. Not that I didn't enjoy Major League Baseball, because I did. Not that I didn't enjoy NHL hockey, because I did. But for whatever reason, I'm just really enjoying the National Football League this year. I've been watching it, like, you know, religiously. And I think that probably if you would have told me a year ago, because it would have almost been a year ago, you know, 10 months or whatever it was when things started going crazy here in the world, that you're going to have a lot of the sports, but there's going to be no fans.
Yeah.
I would have thought, oh man, like that's like, how can you play sports and enjoy it on TV without fans? You know what? It hasn't been that bad. You know, I enjoyed the NHL playoffs last year. I really did. More than I probably thought that I would. Maybe it's because we're so starved for it that we'll take whatever we can get. But I think the networks have done a really nice job of you know, making it feel like it's live and there's excitement, and you know, there's still, I know it's piped in noise and all that, but I enjoy it more than the years. Like, you remember watching the World Juniors for some of those years where
it sucked.
Every time the puck ran, you know.
Everywhere other than Canada.
Yeah, well, yes. Like, you go watch a game, you know, at 2 a.m. Remember when we were kids, you know, you'd get up at 3 a.m. and you'd watch the game from Czechoslovakia. But there was only, you know, parents and, you know, whatever. And every time the puck caromed off the glass, ting, you know, or it felt hollow. It felt like there was, like, awful. At least the way that these major television networks have been able to sort of jazz up the broadcast, at least it feels like there's people there, even though there isn't.
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't have a point on that, but Monty in Saskatoon's watching. He says, Fox, who's your NFL team? Don't start! It's the Vikings. But more on that in a minute. No, I was watching the Steelers because they've kind of I was watching the Steelers in absence of the Dallas Cowboys the other day because the Cowboys game wasn't on regular TV. I'm watching it with my wife. And I said to her, can you imagine playing in that atmosphere? It would be like practice. I think the NFL, well, I know the NFL teams are pumping crowd noise into the stadiums, every single one of them.
Yeah.
And I think in the bubble, in the hockey, they're doing it a little bit too. You can't tell me that hasn't helped with the TV production, right? But I've also been at literal thousands of football practices, and a lot of them, there has been crowd noise pumped in there. And that's what I think the atmosphere would be like for the people in the stadium. It would be like a practice, right? That would be weird. But on TV, you got the bells and the whistles. They fool you.
Yeah,
right?
You know, but I'm surprised, I guess, at how little, or not that I haven't noticed it. I wouldn't want to go so far as to say that, you know, I wouldn't know the difference. I clearly would. But it just hasn't made as much of a difference as I would have thought that it would have. You know, there are still some, hey, Cleveland, I watched a game, the Cleveland Browns 2 weeks ago, and they probably let 10,000 people in the stadium.
They were loud.
They were really loud.
Yeah,
like, holy smokes. Like, it was fun.
It was great.
You know, but my favorite time of year, this is my favorite time of year for sports. You got the World Juniors going on. Generally speaking, the Western Hockey League, we're getting closer to the trade deadline. Of course, unfortunately, we don't have that this year. But you got, you know, the NFL, we're kicking things into high gear, you know, getting ready for the playoffs. I mean, if you're a sports fan and you're not fired up this time of year, you're probably not a sports fan.
Well, it's a great option, though, because we often say, what's the best time of year, spring or fall? Nobody ever talks about Christmas.
True.
And here we are. This might be it.
Yeah.
I might be inclined to believe with you. Trent has written in, guys. Can you put up the comment from Trent in Norway? Everybody wants to know where Trent is every day. Here he is. He says, Norway calling. I still wonder if Sweden can win when it counts. I predict that they will not win again. The choke label still applies for them. I also predict that the U.S. will win over Slovakia today, but it will be tight. As for the Russians, did the Slovaks wake them up? Stay well, everyone. There you go, from Trent in Norway, checking in from over there. Matt Herbert watching, he says, the interviews were amazing for the World Juniors on TSN, teleporting the players. Coaches up to the set. Beam me up, Scotty. So says Matt Herbert. We're going to take a timeout and come back with Viewer Takeover. More with the Silver Fox. I do want to pick your brain on junior hockey, what you know, where we're going, that kind of thing. Not as it relates to the World Juniors, and you know what I'm saying. Yeah. And all these other topics. So hang on. We'll be right back. You're watching the RP Show on Facebook Live, Game Plus TV, and listen live at rodpedersen.com.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
An original 16 to fit your active lifestyle. Introducing Original 16 Canadian Ultra Lager. Just 80 calories and 2.5% alcohol. Taste without compromise.
Look like the pros. Shop Ultimate Fan Zone. NHL, NFL, MLB, CFL, NBA, and more. We have something for every sports fan. Autographed jerseys, prints, jersey stitching, custom framing, and collectibles. UFZ is your one-stop sports store offering fans official team gear. Check out Saskatchewan's Man Cave Corner on River and Main, downtown Moose Jaw, or visit us online at ultimatefanzone.ca. Built by fans for the fans.
It's year-end clearance at Capital GMC. The Capital Auto Group is giving away $50K. That's a $10,000 cash prize at each Capital store in Western Canada. Get the hottest deals on all new and used vehicles, the highest trade-in values of the year, and savings up to $20,000. Oh yeah, and did we mention you can enter to win cold, hard cash? All this and more during Capital's year-end clearance. Check out capitalgmc.ca.
Introducing Original 16 Hard Seltzer. The refreshing taste of delicious peach with vodka made in Saskatchewan. New hard seltzers from Original 16.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Welcome back to the RP Show, everybody. So much to get to. And Kelly's going to stay with us into hour 2. A treat for our viewers on Game Plus. Plus ourselves. Who's kidding who? Donald Mitchell, our Navy buddy, watching in Bahrain, where he brags that it's 22 degrees Celsius today. The Viking Super Bowl losses soured me on them. I really don't have a favorite NFL team. I usually just pick the underdog in a game that piques my interest. NFL Canada, if you follow them on Twitter, Don, they've got a little quiz there. It's fun. If you go to NFL Canada on Twitter, it's pick your favorite NFL team. And it's based on what your favorite holiday destination is. Do you like to ski? Do you like to go to the beach? Do you like to go to the forest? What's your favorite snack? What's your favorite meal? Right? Pick all these things, and then they'll pick a team for you. If you care. That's from NFL Canada. Todd Pinkney says, Taves update on Twitter. Well, what is it, Todd? Let us know. Connor Anderson watching. He says, Mosaic getting turned into an outdoor skating rink. That's cool. From our man, Paul Figler. Figgy from the Dub Network, the blog that covers the WHL, says, good morning, folks. Great sweatshirt, Rod.
I agree.
Thank you. Mine is from the Moose Jaw Warriors.
Yeah.
The pesky Warriors.
Woo!
They threw me this pullover one of the last times I was there. I just love me that town. Warriors are great. We could sit here and talk about them for an hour if we wanted to. But can you put up the photo, Clark, of the hockey rink that they're building at Mosaic Stadium, if you don't mind? There you go. This was from our friend Sabine. It was her photo at Regina Exhibition Association Limited. This has made national news. I saw they were talking about it on CTV News Net. They were talking about it on TSN. I'm hoping, and I haven't talked to our crew around here yet, that I'd like to get the whole RP Show crew down there for a skate.
I love that.
I'd like to do that. It looks great.
Love that.
They say it's the size of 4 hockey rinks, but because of COVID controls, we can only have 30 at a time. I assume you have to book your spots, but
that seems a little ridiculous.
Well, it is. Of course it's ridiculous. You know 30? That as well as I do, but that's what it is.
Well, it's not their fault. They don't make the rules, but 30
it's not
people
their
for something
fault,
that big?
But the rules are still the rules.
Yeah.
And the other thing, growing up, you were no different than me. Like, if it's public skating, why bother if we can't have a stick and a puck? But at this point, I would do it. But you know what I'm saying? Who really wanted to go public skating? Did you?
I wasn't big on it, but my son, who's only skated outside of school, okay, I don't count that because I don't know how many times they go with their classes over the years, probably once or twice or 3 times a year. He shocked me yesterday when his buddy phoned him up and wanted to go to an outdoor rink. So they went by Cumberland there in the East End, and I go to pick him up, and it's minus 13, it's minus 22 with a wind, and he's got no toque, no gloves, wearing flip-flops, carrying skates.
The driving force.
Yeah, how dumb do you have to be after I even sent him a text saying dress warm, no toque, no gloves,
he's a kid.
Spring coat.
Come on, Dad. Relax. From Craig Campbell, watching in the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto. Craig Campbell says the Riders rink looks awesome. It looks totally awesome. But can we ask the provincial health authorities to look the other way? And maybe we can gather the largest outdoor hockey game ever? And somebody is saying, Rod, you want to shoot the puck between the uprights? No. The nets would be the goalpost. Boom. Over here. Boom. Shoot the puck, hit the goalpost. That's a goal.
Do you realize
it would be
what
perfect.
You just said?
What?
Let's have the largest, most people at an outdoor hockey game ever in COVID. It's not going to happen.
I'll take my chances. Hour 2 coming up on Game Plus. Stick around. Everybody's clapping. They're just clapping the thought of you passing away. You're all everybody's I can hear them laughing over here. What does that say? I don't think they like you.
I guess not.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
There's something for everyone at the Mad Greek Eatery. Delicious Greek dishes, pizza, lasagna, pastas, soups, salads, and much more. The Mad Greek Eatery brings the best authentic Greek cuisine right to you. Available for licensed dining, events, delivery, and takeout. For the best taste and huge portions, there is only one place. Visit the Mad Greek Eatery, downtown Moose Jaw. Call for takeout and delivery today.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG. Always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com. Building a deeper connection with our fans by putting them in the show. It's a new era of sports talk. The Rod Pedersen Show airs from 10 to noon, Monday to Friday on Facebook Live. Join the conversation today and tune in. Online, on your phone, at home, at work. Follow us on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. And subscribe on YouTube for all the content you want to watch. Don't wait. Do it right now.
Hey, it's Warren Dean. I understand more than anyone how changing weather affects your day, and that's no different for your vehicle. That's why I look to the experts at Suds Full Service Car Wash. They have a wide range of exterior washes, including Lava Shield with Towel Dry. Looking good, Natalie and Kirby. And don't forget their famous Suds Ultimate. Thoroughly cleans the interior of your car. Open Monday to Saturday. No appointment necessary. Head to Suds Full Service Car Wash today, where they treat you.
No. Bills, Patriots tonight on Monday Night Football. They should put a disclaimer up that the following might be disturbing for some viewers because the Bills are just they are going to beat them down.
How about that?
20 years of beatings laid on the Buffalo Bills by the New England Patriots tonight. Oh, you thought Canada ran it up on Germany. Just wait. That's tonight, Monday Night Football.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
It is. Good day, Canada. Welcome to the RP Show. Canada's daytime sports talk show begins on Game Plus TV. And it's going to be great. It's always great. But we've got the Silver Fox, Kelly Rempel, in this bunker. How you doing, Remps?
Wonderful.
Happy holidays.
Wonderful. Same to you.
You
Same
seemed
to
a
you.
little surprised when I said, and don't blurt out the team, but I said there's a CFL team that watches this show religiously. They get Game Plus on their cable package, and their favorite character of the entire crew is the Silver Fox. And you wouldn't believe that.
I find it a little hard to believe, but I'm flattered. I'm
Yes.
flattered.
Well, this guy, for all our viewers across 31 states and all 10 provinces, this guy right here was Bret Hart's manager. He was a WWF promoter, longtime sales executive in Major Junior Hockey, restaurateur, television sales, entrepreneur. What am I forgetting?
Restaurant owner.
I said restaurateur.
What a great move that was.
Lost his shirt.
Wow.
Like we all do.
No, it was a good learning experience.
Yeah,
How's
so-
that? That's the way I try to put a positive spin on those things, Ron.
Same as mine. So anyways, yeah, the Rems is with us here for most of hour one, or a good chunk of it anyways. And also coming up this hour, New York Islanders star Jordan Eberle, the man voted by Canadians as the greatest Team Canada player ever for the World Juniors. Jordan Eberle will be joining us via video chat. So that's what we got cooking for you today. Director Jordan, let's hit the quick six show topics because we got a lot to get to. By the way, don't let me get out of the warm-up for the Four Seasons Sports Palace without asking Kelly about this. I'm wearing a Moose Jaw Warriors pullover, and there's some bit of a controversy over this logo, and the status of it remains to be seen, where the Warriors are moving forward with this logo. Kelly was part of the front office when they went to this logo. Right, Ramps?
Correct.
So once we get through the quick six, we'll spend a little time on that, okay?
Sure.
So number one, if you're new to the show, these quick six show topics are all of importance to me. They're my top six. Maybe they're not everybody else's, but this is what's on my mind. And number one, will Chris Strebler start at quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals Sunday in a must-win game to make the playoffs against the Los Angeles Rams? It's a huge deal, okay? We got a lot of viewers in Winnipeg. They love Chris Strebler. Kelly, you know it. A year ago, he could have run for mayor and won. Right?
Absolutely.
And he's now the top backup to Kyler Murray in Arizona. And while they have not ruled Murray out for Sunday's game, it's looking like Chris Strebler is going to get his first start in the National Football League. He hasn't thrown a pass in the NFL, but we're all pulling for him. So it's led to our poll question today. Will the Cardinals win if Chris Strebler starts on Sunday? Kelly, please tell me what it says on Facebook for the poll results there. Twitter, last I looked, it was 59% saying no. What are they saying on Facebook?
They're saying 49 yes.
Wow.
51 no. That's tight.
Like the slimmest of margins. And I can't vote. My finger hovered over the voting thing before I could make a decision because I want them to win. I don't know if they will win. And by the way, if it makes a difference in your voting, the Rams are starting a rookie quarterback in Wolford who hasn't thrown an NFL pass either. What are you voting? Can they win or not with Strebler?
Well, I think they can win in lieu of the fact that it looks like both teams' starting quarterbacks aren't going to play. And right now, I mean, the Rams are not playing good football. I mean, they were awful in their last game I watched on Sunday. I mean, that was embarrassing. You could just see their coaching staff just putting their heads in their hands going, what is going on? So, their quarterbacking has not been good. I think his thumb is broken, isn't it?
Jared Goff, yeah.
I think Jared Goff is done. So both teams are going to have backup quarterbacks potentially. And so it's a coin flip. I mean, I think what they will do with Chris Strebler if he does play is they will try to utilize his talents by running the football a little bit. Now, I also don't mean to be disrespectful or condescending in any way, but it's going to be more difficult for him to just fly around in the NFL than it is in the CFL. I do think he's not going to have the space that he normally would have
to run.
Yeah, that, the options and whatnot. Most of the quarterbacks in the league and the NFL that are running options and picking up all kinds of yards, those guys are running 4.3 and 4.4 40s. That's how fast those guys are. He's not one of those guys. But I think they'll cut the playbook in half for him. They'll probably work on 50, 60 plays. They're not going to ask him to throw it more than 25 or 30 times during the game, and they'll try to manage his skill set as best they can.
So that's been a theme through the show. Will the Cardinals win if Chris Strebler starts? He's still not been named the starter, but it's looking that way. Our intern, Alan, the Asian sensation, you haven't seen him since you came into the building, but he's got a machine gun of questions for you. So hang on, Alan. We're trying to get through the quick six here in the warm-up. Point 2. Germany beat Slovakia 4-3. That's Ricky the iguana, our mascot there. And Alan is in that suit. Frequently. Anyways, Germany beat Slovakia 4-3 in overtime at the World Juniors. And if you are like most, or like me, my mind immediately went to this. Canada destroyed Germany, but barely got by Slovakia. And then Germany beat Slovakia? We all think that, don't we? Like maybe we're not as good as we think if Germany can beat the team that we barely beat?
Yeah, but that logic doesn't apply.
No, it doesn't, but you think that.
Yeah.
I think it's human nature.
Yeah.
And in the only other game, Sweden beat Australia 4-0. And there were some big games today at the World Juniors in Edmonton, highlighted by, I believe, Canada versus Switzerland. What's the USA got? The Czechs today, right? 11 a.m. Central. Point 3, Monday Night Football. The Bills beatdown. They embarrassed the New England Patriots in Foxborough 38-9. You heard the intro coming into the hour where I called it yesterday, but that was nothing heroic. Anybody could see this was happening with the way these two teams have been trending, but I do believe that it'll look good on the Patriots. Point 4, the Edmonton Oilers have re-signed defenseman Ethan Bear. He's a favorite son of ours. He hails from Ochapowace, Saskatchewan, former Seattle Thunderbird. This was a formality. It was a 2-year deal at an average annual value of $2 million a year. Good for Ethan. Just an unreal kid and obviously a great hockey player. And he never missed a game for the Oilers last year. But there is breaking news this morning out of the National Hockey League. The Chicago Blackhawks have announced Captain Jonathan Taves will miss training camp. There is no timetable for his return. From Twitter, this offseason, there's a quote from Taves. This offseason, I've been experiencing symptoms that have left me feeling drained and lethargic. I am working with doctors so I can better understand my condition. Unquote. That will be debated endlessly in the days ahead. And my pick for the insider that will have the scoop on what Taves is battling will be Elliot Friedman. We'll see. Point 5, will the Philadelphia Eagles fire head coach Doug Peterson? He's in a lot of trouble with the Eagles that are close to missing the playoffs, 2 years removed from winning a Super Bowl. I'm going to say no. Kelly, do you think Doug Peterson survives into next year in Philly?
I have no idea. I know this. It doesn't matter how good your resume is in the past. It doesn't even matter how well you understand football. And clearly Doug Peterson does, because they won a Super Bowl, and he's, I think, 3 of 5 years they've made the playoffs. So the guy knows how to coach. But if the front office start to get the feeling that your players are not in sync and there's a little bit of disgruntledness, it's a lot easier to fire one guy or fire coaches than it is to replace an entire roster. And it's also more convenient for general managers to put the blame on the coach than the players that you brought in.
Do you think it was Doug Peterson's call, though, to go with Carson Wentz over Nick Foles or even over Jalen Hurts? Whoever's decision that was, that's the guy that should be shown the door. By the way, as the guys have pointed out, the Prairie Mobile text line is open, 306-840-8777. You can reach us right here in the bunker out here in Western Canada. I don't know if you've been following what's been going on with this show, Kelly, but some of the fastest regions now for viewership are Philadelphia, because Game Plus is carried on main cable in Philly. So we got a lot of mail from viewers down there. So Eagles talk, they can get down with. And Eastern Canada, where Eastlink Cable carries Game Plus. So that's been pretty cool. It's been fun times since the last time you came in here.
Yeah,
it's always fun. Always fun.
Change.
And the last point on me, and then we'll turn it over to Rems on some things, is the Toronto Argonauts of the Canadian Football League made several transactions on Monday, and one of those was releasing linebacker Jeff Knox Jr., who's facing attempted double homicide charges in Pittsburgh. And Jeff is a close friend of mine. I've spoken at length with him yesterday. I spoke at length with the Argos. I see both sides. The Argos basically said, hey, we waited until the last possible time to release Jeff. We wanted to make sure he was paid all his money, but we do need to move on. These are coveted roster spots. Jeff's trial's been postponed twice now. February 18th is when he will stand trial on the double attempted homicide charges. And other than that, that's all that I want to say, other than I stand by Jeff. He's disappointed, obviously, with the news. But charges or not, the way the CFL is playing out, he probably was to be released anyways because he was making pretty good money by CFL standards. That's one of the biggest reasons for this move. So that's one of the things that's going down in the CFL. So they all want to talk to you, Rems, and we'll get to the outdoor hockey in a minute, but they all want to talk to you about the WWE. Paul Figler, Figgy, writing from Red Deer, he says the Silver Fox should put out a book about the WWE stuff. Love it. From Alan, the Asian sensation, Alan, the intern, he says, did you meet any other members of the Hart family when you were repping Bret Hart?
All of them. All of them. I knew them all. I mean, I was there a lot. I spent a lot of time up at Stu's. Sunday dinners. Actually, in the early days, I probably knew Bruce better than I knew Bret, but my relationship with Bret grew into something that was pretty special over the years. When we started working together, we became very good friends. In fact, I got a nice text from him on Christmas Day.
You were at WrestleManias?
I was at WrestleMania 12, where he wrestled Shawn Michaels in Anaheim, where he dropped the title to Shawn, and then I was with him at WrestleMania 13 at the Rosemount Horizon in Chicago, where I still think to this day the greatest wrestling match I've ever seen, and I can honestly say I was there live, was against him and Stone Cold Steve Austin. It was just, you can't describe to people how electric that building was. You know, sometimes you watch a sporting event and it looks good, but you go like, it didn't really, as great as it looked on TV, if you were there, you go, I don't care how great it looked on TV, it was nothing like being in the building. That was one of those nights against Stone Cold. That was amazing.
Some of you people will remember the name Sunny, the popular manager. Just look her up if you don't. Sunny, WWF, Google her.
Be careful what website you open up, though.
Very true. I'm sorry. Make sure your kids aren't around. But you had her call me from Chicago. Remember that?
I think that was Mitchell Blair from Regina. I thought
you did that.
No, that wasn't me.
How could he get Sonny to call me?
I think what happened, if my memory serves me correctly, is they were in Regina at a show, and she was wandering around, and he did a real quick interview, and he asked her if she'd be willing to call your cell. I can't take credit for
It was like 23 years ago, so the story might be a little hazy. All I know is Sonny called me, and I was pretty sure she was calling from Chicago. Anyways.
Sorry,
what?
I just couldn't take credit for that because I had nothing to do with it. Look at all the wrestling questions. We should do just a segment on this.
On wrestling?
We might lose some of your...
Well, okay, I want to talk about the Warrior thing, though.
Okay.
So one question from Todd wants to know, what other big-name WWF stars did you rub shoulders with?
I had beers with Hulk Hogan in Peoria, Illinois, I think, one night, of all places. It was at a Raw. I went to a Nitro, a pay-per-view called Sold Out, and then a Nitro, and I think it was in Peoria. And I've met Dwayne Johnson, met The Rock.
The Rock.
Yeah. Now, I can't say I spent a lot of time with him. I remember one time...
Does he follow you on Twitter?
No, Dwayne does not follow me. He wouldn't remember that conversation, needless to say. Spent a lot of time with Owen. One of the greatest days of my life. I mean, some day you'll never forget.
Yep.
I remember they were shooting Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. It was the TV show, though, not the movie.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing a TV series in Calgary at the soundstage there, and I was staying with Bret for 3 or 4 days. And one day he said to me, he says, I'm doing a show with Owen, the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. They want us to do a cameo, like a show with he and I. Are you interested in coming? So I thought, oh, sure, that'd be lots of fun. So we got there at about 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and they gave Bret and Owen their own trailer. And if anybody that knows anything about movies, like, you're not busy the whole day. You might work for 2 or 3 hours, and you might sit around for 8 before your next scene. But these guys were tight for time, so they did all of their scenes this day. So Bret and Owen and myself were together in that trailer, laughing like hysterically, like my cheekbones hurt. He is the funniest guy I've ever met, Owen Hart, or was. And we were there from about 7:30 in the morning till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning the next day.
Wow.
Literally. And just so many laughs. So much fun. Just can't. Those are the days you don't forget. But I've met all of them. Undertaker.
You had me
Shawn
at having
Michaels,
beers with Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, that was...
You had me.
Yeah.
Are we eligible to take a break? The guys are telling me that Jordan Eberle is lined up and ready to go. But we're still going to talk about this Warriors thing. And I did not think out my wardrobe choice today wearing Warriors gear with Jordan Eberle coming up next. I should have worn my Tom Brady hoodie. But anyways.
Jordan, he loved that rivalry. He'll be all for it.
Look, you're leaving, I guess. Do you have a lunch meeting or something you got to go to?
I'm leaving. I have to be somewhere at 11:30.
Oh, well, you got to go. We'll come back next week and tell the Warrior story because we're out of time. Okay?
All right, sounds good.
Well, you can do it in 60. You can do it in 60 seconds. What do you want to say about this Moose Jaw Warrior logo?
Well, I mean, bottom line is Mike Babcock was the general manager of the team. I was the director of marketing at the time. We had a scout on the staff back in 1992 by the name of Ronnie Albert from Saskatoon, who, quite frankly, was insulted by the former logo.
Yep.
It was a little First Nations. It was always known as the Indian riding the skate.
Yeah.
And we had a tomahawk. And first of all, it wasn't a good taste. It was a carryover from the Winnipeg logo. And secondly, it looked like something that somebody did in a grade 8 class, art program class. So we all agreed that it was time for a change. But the only thing, I know you want me to speed this up, the bottom line is that one of our scouts was a graphic designer out of Calgary. His name was Mario Amante. He came up with several ideas, but when we all saw that logo, the one that you're wearing there, everybody went, that's it. It's clever. It's got the stick. It's got the puck. There's nothing racist or nothing, there's nothing wrong with that logo. It's classy. It's everything we want. But we wanted to run it by Ron Albert because he was the Aboriginal scout that was embarrassed and insulted by the one we had. He loved it. He's like, that's it. There's nothing charged or there's nothing motivated in an insulting way. It's not condescending. It's a tribute. We meant for it to be a tribute to the First Nations people, not an insult. And that's the way he took it, and that's the way that his I believe it was Cree Nation. Now I don't want to get that part of it wrong, but everybody loved it. But you know what? We live in a different world now, so I think the team, although I don't believe anybody's complained, my understanding is they're trying to be proactive, and quite frankly, I think it's, to be honest with you, Rod, and I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this from the word, I just think it's a marketing decision. I think that they want to sell more merchandise, and they feel like if they get something else out there, it'll inspire people to buy it. I mean, people aren't going to buy their fourth Moose Jaw Warrior jersey with the same logo on it.
Well, I'm glad we were able to clear the air on that. All right, Rems. Happy New Year.
Take care.
Jordan Eberle next. This has been the warm-up for the Four Seasons Sports Palace. Come in and warm up at the Four Seasons, your home for the NFL. We'll be right back. You're watching on Game Plus, TV, Facebook Live, and listen live for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Updating and improving your air conditioning system does not need to be difficult. You can breathe easy with our 100% satisfaction guarantee, flexible financing options, and maintenance programs. We will be with you throughout the process from start to finish. Contact us today so we can help you breathe a little easier. 306-781-2090.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions is Saskatchewan's only full-service supply chain company. Strategic sourcing, PO creation, and order expediting, VMI and vending solutions, and free delivery are just a few of the supply chain services we provide. If your company needs it, Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions can get it for you. Price, quality, service, Rockstar Supply Chain Solution is helping Saskatchewan companies buy better.
It's year-end clearance at Capital GMC. The Capital Auto Group is giving away $50K. That's a $10,000 cash prize at each Capital store in Western Canada. Get the hottest deals on all new and used vehicles, the highest trade-in values of the year, and savings up to $20,000. Oh yeah, and did we mention you can enter to win cold, hard cash? All this and more during Capital's year-end clearance. Check out capitalgmc.ca. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Welcome back to the RP Show, everybody. We have a question from Jeff, the closed captioning guy at Game Plus. I've got it answered for you, Jeff, but we'll I'll give it to you after the Jordan Eberle interview. Jordan Eberle, 724 NHL games, 518 NHL points with the Oilers and New York Islanders. And he joins us today on video chat. Hey, he shaved somewhat for the interview today. How you doing, Abs?
I'm good. Yeah, we're starting camp here in a few days, so clean shaven's obviously the protocol here.
All right. Oh, that's right. Lou Lamoriello days. I forgot. Hey, before we go deep into the hockey, how was baby's first Christmas?
It was pretty tame. My wife and I flew back here about a week ago, and still just trying to stay healthy. Obviously, with the COVID numbers here, coming up and everywhere, really. But camp starting around the corner, just trying to stay as safe and healthy as possible, and just kind of all us three together. So pretty simple.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you appreciated it for all that it was, even though she had no idea what was going on, the baby. Hey, we talked to you going into the playoffs. We talked to you during the playoffs, but I never talked to you after the playoffs. That Islanders run was pretty special. Conference final. How did you feel it went? Did you guys exceed expectations, or did you think you had the team to win it all?
Well, I think, you make it that far. I think you have to be thinking that you have a chance to win. Anything other than that, really, you probably shouldn't be there. But yeah, it is a tough loss. I mean, you lose to a good team in Tampa Bay. They obviously go on to win the Stanley Cup. But you look back at those games. There's bounces, there's plays that you think that could have shifted the series, and that's always the hardest part to swallow during the summer, and just realize how close you were and how close you came to winning a Stanley Cup. So, but you use that stuff to motivate you, and there's always move into this year and just keep progressing with this team.
Well, let me ask you this, Ebs. I mean, you've played in huge games in your life, but that's the deepest you've gone in the Stanley Cup playoffs. What was the key to doing that individually for you? Because you seem like you hit another gear yourself, and obviously your team did too. But you're seeing that it's a different season, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's taken me some time to figure out playoff hockey a little bit. First time go around at Edmonton didn't really go that well, and then my second time in New York went a little bit better, and then last year it just keeps getting better. So the biggest thing with playoff hockey that I'm learning, especially with our team and the structure and the way that we play, you just really just want to stay patient, not give up that big mistake that's going to lead to, goals against. And I think myself, even just getting older and just playing a little bit more mature game, better two-way. And I think it fits our identity of our team a little bit better. So, but yeah, I mean, the playoffs are fun to play, and that's I've had a lot of enjoyment over the last couple of seasons getting there.
Well, this is exciting. Senator Denise Batters is watching. She writes in and says, Islanders, best of luck this season, Jordan. You probably met Senator Batters along the way. She's a Regina gal and a lifelong Islanders fan. And Ebs, it's not to say that you didn't back check before, but you committed to it in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Am I right?
I mean, I think our whole team, you have to if you want to. Yeah. That's kind of the identity of our team. You look at the way that we play, we're not flashy by any means. We don't have, obviously we have quite a bit of skill on our team, but we don't have that Connor McDavid, that Sidney Crosby asset. So we play by committee, we win by committee, and everyone's going to kind of chip in where they can.
Well, so it just seems to me like you've restored the roar on Long Island. Like, I can't imagine how excited you guys are to hit the ice and get after a Stanley Cup, because it seems like you got everything you need.
Yeah. I don't think Long Island gets enough credit for the fan base that we have here. A lot of it dates back to the 80s, when obviously they were a dynasty and winning a bunch of Stanley Cups. And, a lot of the fans I meet, that's kind of where they said, I became a fan a long time. I've been a fan for this many years. A lot of very similar to Edmonton, actually, with the way that their fan base grew. But the last year's run in the playoffs, when we were going to play at home, was one of the loudest buildings I've played in. That was really the only hiccup of the run last year was obviously playing in front of no fans. So. Hopefully we can make a charge back to that spot, and hopefully by then we'll have some audiences.
Can you please answer a question for me? Because I've been to New York, but not to Long Island, and I've never been to Nassau County Coliseum. Are you playing every home game there now? Because I know you were splitting in Brooklyn. Like, how is the rink, and what's your home schedule like?
Yeah, this year we're fully at the Coliseum, so the old rink. Last year, I think we played half in Brooklyn, half in Coliseum, and the year before that, it was pretty much majority of Brooklyn. The biggest thing for us, and we all live on the island, so east of the city, and it's about a 40-minute train ride to get to Brooklyn, or an hour and a half car ride. So just the commute, your schedule is a lot different. It's just a lot easier, a lot better to play at the Coliseum. Plus, all the fans, in my opinion, are they live out here on the island. It's an easier commute for them too. So it's just makes sense to have the Islanders on the island.
Yeah, well, they've habitually, that rink was voted the worst in the NHL, as you know. It was between Rexall and Nassau County Coliseum, and they were both your homes. What's this one like now for upgrades?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a flashy arena. It's not. I guess it's not the new Rogers Place in Edmonton, but you look at the building, the history of it. We call it Four Can't Lose, because the crowd is just like, they're on top of you. It's loud. It kind of reminds me in a similar way. I mean, you probably relate to this, but of like the old Crush Can in Moose Jaw. The fans, it's loud. It seems to echo in there, and it's a tough place for teams to come in and win. So we've had obviously a lot of success there.
From some of our viewers, Ricky Regina writes in, he says, I took Ebbs and the Islanders to win the cup on ComeOn.com. That's our new betting partner, Ebbs. Come On official betting thing. So he's got their money down on the Islanders. Matt Herbert writes in, he says, I loved watching Ebbs come into the Art Hauser and light up the net and pop in 6 to 10 points per game. Yes, those were that's a little inflated, but
a little bit.
But Ebbs did pop the lights in a lot of places. John Ullman, Winnipeg, if you don't mind a personal question, he wants to know what kind of car you drive. Are you okay with answering that, Ebbs? He says, I hope it's a sports car.
No, I don't. I mean, well, first off, I playing in Edmonton, you can't have a sports car. For a number of years, I had just a truck. Summertime, I just drive a Range Rover out here, and I try to just keep to an SUV. I don't have a sports car. I just never have. Just like to. I guess I had a Maserati a long time ago, but I only had it for about a year and sat in my garage and barely drove it, so I got rid of the thing. But yeah, I'm truck and SUV pretty much.
John, that's the prairie in you. They will never take that out of you. John Schmeiser in Kansas City says, has it been a challenge adapting to Barry Trotz's system?
I wouldn't say so. I think I'm at the time in my career, obviously I'm getting a little bit older. So it's just about winning. And you look at his resume and the teams that he's taken pretty far, and obviously won in Washington. It's just easy to adapt to it. And when you're winning hockey games and things are working, it's it's easy to commit and give yourself up for that.
From Senator Denise Batters, she's still watching. She says, thanks for the shout out, Rod. Yes, I had the thrill of meeting Jordan when Regina hosted the Memorial Cup recently. That was special for sure. And we are going to get around to the World Juniors, Ebbs, 1 second. But viewer Derek Smith wants to know, what does Ebbs think about Rod wearing that Warrior jacket? Like I said, I didn't.
I was on earlier, and you guys were talking about it. I saw it. Yeah, I was a little shocked. I mean, you feel like a little bit of a traitor, but that's okay.
Whoa! I'm trying to get over these old rivalries, man. That's what I'm trying to do. I was thinking about this the other day with you being voted the #1 World Junior player ever. I was thinking about that night in Red Deer. Remember when the hole underneath the stands was packed? Everybody wanted your autograph, and Tubi and I had to hide you under a jacket and sneak you onto the ice and onto the bus. Have you experienced anything like that in the NHL since? Like, that was just insane times.
Yeah, that was such a whirlwind. I was doing an interview a few weeks ago. They were bringing up World Junior. It was actually with James Duthie, and we were just talking about it. And it was just crazy, the whirlwind. I really went from. I mean, I was a good junior player, but it wasn't a household name, or no one really knew me. I wasn't highly touted anywhere, and went from that to just, being on the map so quickly that, like you said, there's times like that in Red Deer that we couldn't get out of the rink because there were so many fans waiting. But, at my time in Edmonton, obviously they're pretty passionate about hockey. They're fans. We used to have, season ticket holder signing events at the West Edmonton Mall, and it was very similar. Like you sit there and sign for 3 hours, and there was hundreds of people still that didn't get an autograph. So, that stuff like that is pretty crazy, and I've definitely been fortunate enough to enjoy it as much as I can.
Yeah. Well, one thing I remember about that night was you were sick too. That was the biggest reason why we were trying to sneak you. Like your eyes were yellow. I don't know what your sickness was, but it was not. That was a tough night. But you still hold that record. I mean, do you watch TSN down there? They've been talking about you for a couple of weeks now. But Eberle's got the record for goals. Lindros has the record for points. Do you think about that much, or just this time of year?
Really, just this time. I mean, lucky enough on the NHL Network, you can watch the games down here. So I've been watching it. I love the World Juniors, like every Canadian kid, I'm sure, grew up watching it. For me, it's just the energy and the passion that you watch these kids, these big hits. I remember as a kid, I watched Jordan Tootoo. They used to do the 2-2 train or the double Dion, or just the passion the guys when they score, how excited they get jumping in the glass, whatever it is. There's just so much energy, and these kids are loving it. So in my opinion, it's one of the funnest hockey to watch.
Yeah, well, my mind's racing now that you say that. The goal that they say was the greatest goal ever was yours in Ottawa, and it's just funny how it's similar to your first ever NHL goal. Remember that? Almost the same move.
Yeah, I mean, they both went to the backhand. A little different. One was on the rush, one was kind of in the play. But, obviously, for me, the two of the bigger goals I've scored, for sure.
Hey, just lastly, as you guys get ready to open training camp here, what's your schedule ahead? Are you still kind of hunkered down and sequestered? I mean, you got through the playoffs once. How is this going to be different? Because you're not going to be in a bubble. How much time is dedicated to making sure that you guys can pull this off?
Yeah, I mean, from my understanding, it's a full go. So we're starting camp on the 3rd, and I think camp's about 8-9 skates and right into regular season. So you look at the schedule, it's a lot of games condensed, and you look at the history of what's gone on in the MLB and the basketball and even football. Obviously, guys are getting sick, so I would imagine at some point there's going to be something that happens where a team gets it or whatever. I think the biggest thing and the biggest advantage as a team you can have really is just staying healthy. Because, obviously it's a shortened season. You miss, you get COVID or you get sick. I mean, obviously you're missing a number of games, and there's a limited amount of time. So the biggest thing is just really it's going to the rink, coming home. It's a little easier for me now that I have a family and I'm not young out trying to go to restaurants or whatever. But it's a pretty basis as far as just rink and come home, make dinner, and back to it the next day.
Yeah, well, you've always been a fairly cautious guy. So if you're extra cautious now, that's a good thing. Ebbs, you never disappoint. You always got something for me. He called me a traitor. Happy New Year. All the best. A lot more Islanders fans up here again, or at least they've come out of the woodwork again. So keep it rolling, man. Good luck.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Rod. Always good.
Jordan Eberle of the New York Islanders joining us from Long Island today. A traitor. I got to examine that. Dupes will join us. We haven't seen him since way back in the warm-up of hour 1 of the program today. I want to tell you the Prairie Mobile text line is open. Let's hear from you. 306-840-8777. Prairie Mobile is your authorized SaskTel Mobility dealer. And we'll update the poll results, too, when we come back. Do you think the Arizona Cardinals can win with Chris Strebler as their starting quarterback this Sunday in a must-win game against the Rams? You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus TV across all 10 provinces and in 31 states. Also Facebook Live and listen live for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpeterson.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
This right here is time well spent. Why not pour yourself a smooth Saskatchewan-made Original 16? Warm up to the opportunity to seize the day.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Look like the pros. Shop Ultimate Fan Zone. NHL, NFL, MLB, CFL, NBA, and more. We have something for every sports fan. Autographed jerseys, prints, jersey stitching, custom framing, and collectibles. UFZ is your one-stop sports store offering fans official team gear. Check out Saskatchewan's Man Cave Corner on River and Main, downtown Moose Jaw, or visit us online at ultimatefanzone.ca. Built by fans for the fans.
IKS Live. IKS Live. Western Canada's premier production services company. LED sign rentals. Video production. Event management. Look no further than IKS Live. Visit our website. IKS Live. Always the best seat in the house. IKS Live.
It's year-end clearance at Capital Ford Lincoln. The Capital Auto Group is giving away $50K. That's a $10,000 cash prize at each Capital store in Western Canada. Get the hottest deals on all new and used vehicles, the highest trade-in values of the year, and savings up to $20,000. Oh yeah, and did we mention you can enter to win cold, hard cash? All this and more during Capital's year-end clearance. Check out CapitalFordLincoln.com.
He's covering everything that matters to you. It's the Rod Pedersen Show. Tune in live Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to noon to catch the show live and be a part of the action. Take control by commenting live and sharing the show with your friends.
Introducing Original 16 Hard Seltzer. The refreshing taste of delicious peach with vodka made in Saskatchewan. New hard seltzers from Original 16.
Laid back and kicking it, let's head back to the studio. Here's Rod.
Welcome back, everybody. Sports update. The Chicago Blackhawks announced today that team captain Jonathan Taves will not report to training camp and is out indefinitely due to a medical issue. Taves said in a statement, "This offseason I've been experiencing symptoms that have left me feeling drained and lethargic. I am working with doctors so I can better understand my condition. Until I can get my health back to a place where I feel I can perform at an elite level and help my team, I will not be joining the Blackhawks for training camp. I do not have a timetable for when I will rejoin the team. I am extremely disappointed, but it wouldn't be fair to myself or my teammates to attempt to play in my current condition." Wow. There's going to be a diagnosis of what he has, and I still got money on Elliot Friedman as the guy that breaks the news as to what Jonathan Taves is battling. Does he have a right to his privacy? Yes. Does that always mean a lot in pro sports? No. And I know Moose DuPont has some thoughts on that, so hang on. The Buffalo Bills have swept their season series with the New England Patriots, becoming the first AFC East foe to accomplish the feat in 2 decades. Josh Allen and the Bills cruised to a 38-9 victory over the Patriots on Monday Night Football. The Raptors will once again be searching for their first win of the season when they take on the 76ers in Philadelphia tonight. Toronto last played on Boxing Day, dropping a 119-114 decision to the San Antonio Spurs. And Team Canada is set to return to the ice at the World's Juniors. After a day off, the Canadians will face Switzerland in group play tonight. Canada has already chalked up 2 wins at the tourney, while the Swiss are looking for their first victory. This sports update for Wendell Clark's Classic Bar and Grill in Saskatoon, where
it is
Taco,
what is it? Taco Tuesday. I was going to say Wendell Wednesday because it just rings, rolls
I know.
off the
It's
tongue.
Taco Tuesday. Chicken tacos featured for $12.95. See it at Wendell's, corner of Idlewild and Circle Drive. For the Tap Brew House and drive-through liquor store, corner of Rochdale and Pasqua. I went there yesterday for lunch. The server was a young hockey player who had played at Missouri State hockey.
Whoa.
And he suggested the jalapeno soup.
And?
It's all I'll ever have.
Jalapeno. I had the mushroom soup last time we were there, which I loved.
Jalapeno potato.
Whoa.
And I might add, because my brother-in-law yelled at me at the supper table for drinking out of the soup bowl, which incidentally growing up, not only was not weird, it was expected. I said to him, why do soup bowls have handles if you're not supposed to drink out of them? And when they brought the jalapeno soup yesterday, there's a handle on the bowl.
I mean, I wouldn't drink the whole bowl of soup.
No, just the end.
But the end, how do you get the end out? It's the same thing with the milk in a cereal bowl.
I got yelled at. And for Ben Cahoon's G2G protein bars, RP Show viewers get 20% off with the promo code RP Show. Order yours now at g2gbars.ca. Just a couple of housekeeping items. Jamie Anstey is watching in Nova Scotia right now. He wants to know where the puck is that he sent. We had to get a puck from the Moose Jaw Warriors shipped to us from Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia, when the fact is they're 40 miles down the road.
Yeah. We could have walked to Moose Jaw.
We could have walked to Moose Jaw. But there's the Warriors logo. Jamie, it's right there. From Jeff in Calgary, the Stamps fan, he says, drinking out of the soup bowl. How Regina of you, Rod. Thank you. And Jeff, the closed captioning guy.
Yeah.
You tell me how many TV hosts are having a one-on-one conversation with the guy that closed captions their show. And there's nobody.
No. I'll hang up and listen.
We're doing it here. Well, I'm not sure. Oh, it's not Jeff. It's another guy. But he says, Game Plus closed captioning guy here. Great talk today so far. Can you ask the Silver Fox what's the difference between WCW and WWF back then? Why one succeeded and one failed? Well, on his way out, I put that question to the Silver Fox, and you were standing there.
Yeah.
Very simple. The answer is Vince McMahon versus Eric Bischoff. Rempel went on to say, one is an astute businessman, the other a complete idiot.
Yeah, complete buffoon. That's basically it. One knew how to run the organization. Doesn't mean he was well liked, but there was one leader, and the other guy was a mess.
He writes back, the closed captioning guy. Awesome, thanks.
Cool.
Text sent a little late looking, here it is, looking forward to Eberle. Gurley yesterday was an awesome guest. Great show. So somebody's watching in Toronto. It's the Game Plus guys. So the Taves thing. I want to say the guy has a right to privacy, but he's also the captain of the Chicago Blackhawks. And if you really want to get into it, with Steve Simmons breaking the news that Austin Matthews had COVID, when whomever breaks the news of what Jonathan Taves is battling, what's the difference? Just because COVID's a swear word right now? Because let's admit it, you all want to know. You all want to know. I want to know.
I do too. Here's the thing. They have a right to their privacy. The athletes have a right to their privacy. But they have a responsibility to keep you informed.
Do they?
So Steve Simmons looks like a jerk for breaking the story of Austin Matthews, but the Leafs are kind of wrong for trying to hide that and keep that private. It's a star player. So Jonathan Taves, the report comes out that he's going to miss the start of the season with an undisclosed illness. So everybody wants to know. And Jonathan Taves and the Blackhawks need to understand that he's the captain of one of the original 6 franchises, an historic franchise in the league. He's Team Canada's captain multiple times over. He's a very influential figure in hockey and in sports. People are going to want to know what is going on with Jonathan Taves and why he's not on the ice and competing. So they understand that. And here's Jonathan Taves coming out and saying, I don't feel right. I don't feel ready. It's not my responsibility. And we don't know, unidentified illness that I'm dealing with. So he comes out and is very forefront with the information, and we're pretty cool with it. And if they get diagnosed, I would hope that they would announce the diagnosis, right, at that point. Or come out and say, look, it's not something I want to talk about anymore, and I would respect it if you didn't ask me. And then at least he's said it. But if you just hide and say, we've got an undisclosed illness or he's not at training camp and we're not talking about why, people are going to be digging for that news and people want to know what's going on.
Right. It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
We were just talking, the crew in here. Taves says, I've been experiencing symptoms that have left me feeling drained and lethargic. That could very, very easily be a mental health situation, not physical health. So I don't believe he personally has a responsibility to let the world know. I don't. Maybe we should talk about this coming back, because I know we got to get into a break here. We have another viewer in the 6. We have at least 2.
Yeah.
Ray from the 416 writes in, he says, good day, RP gang. I wonder if that spotter for the Patriots has a job today. Belichick lost it. The phone did not fare too well either. That was hilarious. Patriots have had a good run. It's over now. It's over.
It's over.
That feels good to say. The Patriots run is over.
And all the pieces are crumbling now, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're talking about Josh McDaniels being a head coach in Canada again. I mean, he is every offseason, but he left the Colts before even taking the job to come back because of Brady. Now without Brady, what's the reason for him to stay? It's all going to fall apart.
We have many, many more viewers that want to be heard, and they will when we come back in Viewer Takeover next. You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus TV Network, Facebook Live, and listen live for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
You need to adapt and you need to move forward. You can't be stuck in 1920. Direct West is on the top of their game. They know what they're doing, how they're doing it, and when you work with Direct West, things are good. There's no going backwards, they're moving forward. My business would not be where it is today without the help of Direct West to help me with my website and my Facebook and all my online presence. I've worked with Direct West for about 10 years, and it's been a great experience.
Building a deeper connection with our fans by putting them in the show. It's a new era of sports talk. The Rod Pedersen Show airs from 10 to noon, Monday to Friday on Facebook Live. Join the conversation today and tune in. Online, on your phone, at home, at work. Follow us on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. And subscribe on YouTube for all the content you want to watch. Don't wait. Do it right now.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG. Always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse is a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-40.
IKS Live. IKS Live. Western Canada's premier production services company. LED sign rentals. Video production. Event management. Look no further than IKS Live. Visit our website. IKS Live. Always the best seat in the house. IKS Live.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. It's the viewer takeover, and we got lots of time for it. The Stamps fans are awake today. Zach Nelson writes in, he says the Stamps are the New England Patriots of the CFL.
Finished?
You better check. Yeah, are they done? You better check with the Stamps to see if they are okay with that. Jeff, the Stamps Peters fan. What do you say? God created the world in 6 days. On the seventh day, he created Bo Levi Mitchell. Why are we talking about this on December 29th? I don't know. This is what I do want to talk about. And this came up 1 hour ago, and it's coming up again. Oh, hey, we got a bunch of new messages here since I picked up the phone.
Great.
Can you show the hockey rink, Iceville at Mosaic Stadium where the Rough Riders play? Thank you, Clark. They announced this yesterday. That's the size of 4 hockey rinks going in the football surface at Mosaic Stadium, and I'm hoping that we can get our whole crew here down for a scheduled skate. They're only doing it 30 at a time. I said, hey, why don't we have the world's largest outdoor hockey game? And Kelly Rempel fell off his chair and said, in COVID times? I said, well, whatever. Why can't we play hockey outdoors? Makes no sense to me. And Irene writes in and says, oh, my God, Rod, no, you must obey COVID. Please. Love your nurse practitioner, Irene in Saskatoon. I have not broken any rules, okay? It was just an idea. COVID police, back off. And I'm not saying that's Irene. I'm just saying I was thinking out loud. I'm so sorry for thinking for myself.
No, you're right. You're right.
Am I?
We should have the biggest hockey game. Shouldn't be now. But that outdoor rink on the turf at Mosaic Stadium should be a winter staple every year. It should be a winter staple every year. Think of the winter festival that could happen all the time around it. Think of you could put a big tree above Pilsner Place on the concourse. Could be the most wonderful Christmas spectacle ever for the winter. It'd be beautiful. Every year it should happen, and there should be a giant charity hockey game on it every year once. I think that's a great idea. It just shouldn't be now.
Yeah. Well, you got to be careful what you say, as they say these days.
But if that's your first thought, it doesn't mean that, let's cram everybody on there during COVID times. It means that's the idea when I see the big sheet of ice. And it's
first thing I thought.
It's absolutely what we should do.
William May writes in, good job, guys, on your show. Love it. Anonymous texter writes in from the 696. Hi, Rod. Thanks for acknowledging that Ethan Bear is from Ochapowace, Saskatchewan, our First Nation people across Canada. Extremely proud of our young warrior. I'm extremely proud of him, too. And thank you for pointing that out. I will always point that out with Ethan Bear. Jim Wagner writes in, good day, RP Nation. Roddy, you and Silver Fox should do a face-off. Love both your passion. Sending my wife and daughter to the spa in Moose Jaw tomorrow and then to the Mad Greek for supper. It's good. It's good. You wrote that. It's good. It's good. At the Mad Greek. I married a Greek, so
you're in.
I can have fun with them. We got a comment from Roger Yee. Can we read it? Hey, Rod, I haven't checked in for a while. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's to all of you. Glad to see Iceville is going on, but 30 at a time is a joke. spend $1.3 million to build it? Sure to hell they can socially distance with having about 200 people on it. Here we go. Irene in Saskatoon has written back, and she says, good. I just want you to be safe, Rod. Ken would miss you if you had to self-isolate. Well, we've got a plan for that.
Yeah.
In the event that happens, Bill, he's the next texter. I don't have time for it. But Paul has built an isolation room here. In the event any of us has to go into self-isolation, it's COVID-free. In the event that it happens. But I was thinking about this last night when my head hit the pillow. I work and I go home. And then I go work and then I go home. Then I hit the grocery store and come back. And then I go to work and I go, I don't mind it.
It's great.
I'm still missing going to the hockey games and doing the games, but I live a very sedate lifestyle like most of you in these COVID times, and I don't necessarily hate it.
It's great because I go to work, go home, go to work. Sometimes I don't go home.
Right. You stay here.
And now there's an excuse for it.
Tomorrow, Oilers color man Bob Stauffer and a special guest to be determined. Again, that's tomorrow, 10 a.m. Central on Facebook Live and Game Plus here at noon. Truth's in the coffee. It's Truth Serum.